When was the first time that you ever felt true determination? For me, it wasn't asking out my teenage crush or going for my first job interview. It was actually much earlier than that. I bet a lot of you know just how good it feels to finally beat that one level in your favorite video game. You know what I mean. You've spent all summer sitting in front of your TV with that one game, that one stupid, brilliant game. Your mum keeps complaining about you shutting the curtains and blocking the light from the windows, but you keep closing them anyway because she doesn't understand that the glare is making the game just so unplayable. You've done absolutely every other side quest, bonus mission, arcade mode, minigame. You've even gone back and replayed all the other missions for better ranks. You've just exhausted all other content. Also, you can avoid trying that one level, that one boss fight, or that one irritating puzzle that just keeps kicking your ass. I'm sure for some of you this was probably the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time. It might have been the High Road from Crash Bandicoot, or even Hazy Maze Cave from Super Mario 64. But for me it wasn't any of these, it was the power plant in Sonic Heroes. I loved Sonic so much as a kid. I still do now, actually. And when I popped that disc in for the first time and picked my favorite characters, Team Sonic of course, and just ran at the speed of sound through three of the most adrenaline-packed stages that my tiny little brain had ever seen at the time, I was having the time of my life, and I was very suddenly halted by this stupid fucking level. I mean, the power plant has just the most infuriating escape sequence where you have to climb out of this vat that is slowly filling with magma. The camera's kind of weird and there's enemies blocking the way. Tails is just so slow and clunky that the speed of the magma is causing my feeble child mind to just completely fumble every move I make. And I remember at the time I played through every other team's story. I did all of Team Rose, I did all of Team Chaotix, right up until I got to Team Dark and was met with that same vat once again. I actually beat that stage for the first time at my friend's house. Obviously it was on his memory card, so that meant all I was concerned with for the rest of the day was just getting home so I could do it again on my save. And that was the first time I experienced the utter thrill of actually beating something that up until then I'd considered impossible.
Ah! I can't feel my hands. I can't feel my hands.
It was in many ways the experience that I think cemented my love of video games. It was what pushed me to play more games and actually finish them. But that wasn't the first time I ever felt true determination. No, that came later. There comes a time in every young gamer's life when they finally think, I'm gonna do it all. That one game that just enthralls you so completely that you make a commitment to it. This will be your magnum opus. You will conquer this game. You will play it until there is nothing left to play. For some people, this was collecting all 151 Pokemon in the original Red and Blue. For others, it was reaching level 55 on World at War and making that red pill, blue pill decision to prestige and lose all your guns and progression, but gain the sweet validation that comes from everybody else in that lobby knowing that you're better than them, or at least you've played the game for longer than they have, but you know, that's how it felt at the time. For me, that moment came when I saw a 480p YouTube video in 2008 that showed Luigi running around in Super Mario Galaxy. High jumps, slippy feet and all. Luigi was in this game. You could play as him. This was unprecedented. Immediately, my mind rushed back to L is real rumors from a couple of years prior, but this wasn't like that. L really was real this time, and I had to have it. I had felt probably more intense desire for Luigi than any other reasonable child ever has. And what did I have to do to get my hands on that sweet green goodness? Collect all 120 power stars. Fine, I thought. I'll do it. Now, you only need 60 power stars to face Bowser, and I'd already racked up most of these before I was even aware of Luigi's exciting existence. Bowser puts up a damn good fight, but it was no match for the sweat-fueled vice grip on my wireless tools of war. The real challenge started the next day, systematically making my way up every part of that Comet Observatory and clearing out every single galaxy in the game. The journey ahead of me that I would soon come to know had 3 major roadblocks. Most main galaxies in the game contain 6 stars, and 3 of these tend to be no real issue. You might find a difficult star here and there, but it's nothing a few attempts won't solve. Then there's usually a secret star, one that doesn't have a description, so you have to look a little harder for it, but it's still usually not that big of an issue. Then there's comet stars. Comet stars were the first real issue I ran into. These start appearing fairly early into your journey, but up until Luigi had come into my life, I had mostly ignored them. That was, of course, no longer an option. For those of you who don't know, prankster comets would usually take existing missions and dial them up to 100. Fast flow comets would cause enemies speeds to increase, for example, or speedy comets would add a time limit to each level. Daredevil comets would usually challenge you to beat a boss without getting hit. These were a huge source of the war flashbacks I have when it comes to this game. I mean, Poltergeist's boss theme will be burnt into my skull for all eternity. I spent like a solid week of summer on just this one guy alone. Beating his spooky bricked up ass is one of the most satisfying moments of my life. Holy shit, it felt so good. And then there were cosmic comets, and one cosmic comet in particular that would just forever change the way I played Mario games. See, when I started playing Super Mario Galaxy, I had only played a tiny bit of Sunshine, so the only real meaningful experience I had with any 3D Mario games was the DS port of Super Mario 64, which controls considerably different to other titles in the series. This meant that 3D Mario was still kind of a new beast to me. I was mainly playing this game with the use of one button, the jump button. I would jump and I'd shake my Wii remote to spin, and that was working out pretty well for me so far, so I didn't really take much interest in doing much more than that. That all changed when I got to Gold Leaf Galaxy. Cosmic comets spawn a clone of Mario that you must race to the star. So, I start the mission, I begin the race, as I've done many times before at this point, and I immediately struggle to make it up these blocks that are just a little too high for Mario to jump up comfortably, but I get up there and I start to run my way around all these swerving wooden planks. And what do I see when I'm doing this? This motherfucker is just flying across gaps, all like... And I am just flabbergasted by what I'm seeing. I mean, this dude is on a whole different level to me, so I'm trying again and again, and let me tell you, 12 seconds for a mission to restart may not sound like long, but when it's happening every 30 seconds, and you got this little arsehole going every single time, it gets to you, man. I mean, and that's without the game overs that make you start from the title screen. So, my god, at the age of 12, this goes on. Anyway, we're sitting at attempt number 200 and god knows what, and I'm no closer than when I started to even competing with this guy. So, I finally decided it's time to do some research. I ran upstairs to my parents' desktop, and I found that, lo and behold, there are actually like different types of jumps in this game. This is how I imagine it feels to find religion.
You want forgiveness? Get religion.
Learning I could triple jump by timing button presses, and this would extend my jump height, or that I could crouch before jumping to just fly across gaps with a long jump. My little world had just been expanded exponentially. I ran downstairs and tried to do what I had just seen Overhazard do. That video is still up, by the way, and in a twisted turn of fate, they're actually playing as Luigi in the video. But anyway, I tried to copy that video, and obviously I sucked at it. I couldn't get the angles right, I kept messing up the timing, but I practiced and practiced, and eventually I did it. So shout out to Overhazard, you literally changed the way I played Mario games 14 years ago. And with that major revelation, comets were becoming less of an issue. I truly felt that I had evolved as a player and that nothing could stop me on my quest in pursuit of the greenest of treasures that this beautiful universe had to offer. Then there was purple coin comets.
Oh, you're
fucking insane!
Anyone else who has lost their summer in pursuit of the Big L will know that purple coin comets consume the universe once you beat Bowser and finish the game for the first time. This adds a mission to, I believe, every main galaxy, tasking you to collect 100 purple coins. These are either relaxing, if not slightly exhausting scavenger hunts, or some of the most intense butt-clenching experiences of your life, and there is no in-between. I cannot tell you how long it took me to track down so many of the just slightly out-of-view coins in Purple Coins on the Summit. This level, I swear, they designed the camera to just swerve as many purple coins as possible, and it's such a dangerous area as well that the longer you spend here collecting coins, the easier it is to die because you've depleted every source of health in the level, and all it takes is one long jump into the hypothermia reducing water or a stray little burr, and that's it. Half an hour of progress gone. Sea Slide was another one I remember just despising. This level is so huge and it's connected by this big ring of water, which they do give you like a shell to swim around faster, but the problem is so many of the coins here require you to have a bee suit, which just evaporates as soon as you touch the water. So did you miss some coins? Well, better swim all the way back to another bee mushroom again, then slowly hover all the way back here without touching the water again, just so you can try to make that one jump for those 3 purple coins you need. Again, Bone Pen sucks as well. Getting coins here is already pretty difficult because the whole star forces you to move using those pull star beams, which they're all point controls with really floaty physics, but then the game goes and sticks a time limit on it as well. So not only do you need to be super precise and careful not to pop Mario's bubble and send him just hurtling into the dark existential terror that is the empty void of space, but you have to do it quickly. Patience, precision, and pressure are like a 12-year-old's worst nightmare, but none of these, and I mean none of them, compared to the hell on earth that was Luigi's purple coins in Toy Time Galaxy.
Oh god.
You have to make your way across a minefield of platforms over a bottomless void of death. Some of these platforms don't stop spinning. Some of them are gooey masses that will just consume Mario untouched. And some of them disappear and don't ever come back. So you better watch where you fucking step and plan at least 3 moves ahead, or you may just screw yourself out of those last few purple coins you need later. And as if that wasn't already enough of a problem, someone on the dev team said, "Oh, kill them if they take longer than 3 minutes. You have no time to think here, but if you don't think, you lose." It is truly ironic that in my long search for the younger Mario brother, it was his very image that posed one of the biggest obstacles and most formidable foes on the path to victory. But not quite the biggest. For there is one entity in this game that drove me to the brink of insanity. One being that caused sleepless night after sleepless night. I would wake up sweating, nightmares of their face staring at me, taunting me, telling me I would never experience life as Luigi Mario because I would never pass their test. A test so grueling that if there is such a thing as an afterlife, this will be my own personal hell. I am, of course, talking about the garbage dump. This droid, this one lowly droid, is responsible for so much anguish and torment that I felt as a child. For those of you who don't understand, let me tell you why. The garbage droid appears in Battle Rock's garbage dump, where he tasks you with destroying all the piles of scrap and garbage lying around. This is done with bombs, and it seems simple enough, right? Wrong. Battle Rock's garbage dump has 15 piles of rubbish to blow up, and each bomb takes 10 seconds after throwing to detonate. So how long does the game give you to do this? 30 seconds. This means that by the 20-second mark, absolute latest, you need to have all of your bombs correctly positioned and ready to blow. There are these little gold bolts that hint as to where you should be throwing them, but this is never explicitly told to you, and so my stupid 12-year-old ass took a long time to pick up on this anyway. And when I did, I naively thought that this would make a difference, and it didn't. Knowing where to position the bombs is great, but there's still the matter of trying to rush back and forth between the hatches where the bombs spawn, and then lining Mario up at just the right angle and distance so that they land exactly where you need them to 5 times before those 20 seconds are up, so that they all have time to explode. So that's what I did. I picked up bombs, I threw bombs, I destroyed piles of scrap, I missed piles of scrap. I got yelled at by this arsehole janitor who just can't be happy I'm doing his job for him, and instead insists it be done in under 30 seconds.
Oh no, no.
I avoided this mission. I had moved on with finishing the other 119 stars in the game with the intention of coming back to this later because it was just so unbearably frustrating to me. It wasn't ideal, but you know, I thought I can get through everything else and then come back here later to finish things. I only have to do it once after all, right? But that wasn't the case. I was coming to the end of my travels across the universe, sitting at a pretty lofty 100 and something stars when I once again reached Dreadnought Galaxy, one of the last accessible galaxies in the very last area of the observatory, the Garden. I finished off the usual first 3 stars and conquered both the Speedy and Purple comets before searching for the Secret Star. My logic was that getting the comets out of the way and only having a comparatively easy Secret Star to get would be the best way to go. I couldn't believe it. My heart sank. I fell to my knees and just sat there for a moment. I had to do this mission not just once, but twice. And not only that, this layout was harder. It required an extra bomb to be laid before the time ran out. Immediately, I begin to panic. I start to think about all the time and effort that I've poured into this journey, and I think, was it worth it? What if this is all for nothing? What if I can't do this? Worse yet, summer has ended, and I had school tomorrow. I had failed my mission. My head filled with these chilling revelations, I head to bed and drift off, uncertain about the future. The next morning, I leave for school, still feeling pretty bummed out about the lingering task ahead of me, and I sit there considering throwing in the towel. But somewhere between the anguish that was math class and the relative fun of English, I had a moment of clarity. For my journey was not over. I thought about the big man himself, Luigi Mario. I thought about everything that man stood for. Luigi's entire life has been a constant battle to prove to those around him that he is not second best. He's not just Mario's younger brother. He is Luigi Mario, ghost hunter extraordinaire, protagonist of Mario is Missing, the unsung hero that nobody believes in. I owed it to not just myself, but Luigi to finish my quest. I would not be the player who only got 118 power stars. I would not be second best to the garbage droid. I would wield my Wii remote once more. I would fly to Battle Rock Galaxy, my spirits high and my mind focused. I, for the first ever time, felt true determination, and it felt incredible. Mario lands with a thud, and the short walk to the garbage heap begins. I take my nunchuck, I grip my Wii remote, and breathe. The timer begins. The first round of bombs shoot from the ammunition dispensers. I run back and forth, I grab bombs, and I hurl them towards these scrap piles that have been the bane of my existence for 6 grueling weeks of my life. I fail. Unfazed, I try again, and I fail once more. Not a problem. Let's go again. Again and again and again I strike, never tiring. I continue to throw these bombs through the air. A never-ending hellfire of pure heart and vengeance rains down until suddenly... it's over. I've won. The air is still for just a moment as I process what has just happened. Once more, I have evolved. I've changed. I feel so powerful. And with almost no hesitation, I head straight to the Dreadnought. And with my newfound sense of strength and confidence, I clear that scrap heap in a fraction of the time. I am unstoppable. The timer stops, my arms fall to my side as Mario flies back to the observatory and lands as I've seen him do 119 times before this. But this time is different, because this time that counter ticks over for the final time, 120 power stars. I am overwhelmed with emotion, pride, strength, relief, but I know that it isn't over yet. I still had to collect my prize.
Was it as easy as it looked?
No, sir. No, sir, it wasn't.
So I headed to Bowser's Galaxy Reactor and I made my way through that molten castle that now seemed like a monument to distant memories. One final celebration of a journey that had taken me so far, both physically and emotionally. I defeated Bowser once more and the credits rolled. I watched the names scroll by, and even more than before, this felt like a true ending to my quest. The both astoundingly epic and incredibly sad score echoed through my ears as all my accomplishments literally scrolled away in front of me, offered into the ether in return for the thing I'd been waiting for the entire summer. And as the credits came to a close, the music becomes a distant sound and the screen faded to black. My magnum opus was complete. I can now play as Luigi.
galaxy.